Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in for another episode. Today I want to talk about a few baits that are flying under the radar for springtime fishing. These are baits that I have used for several years now and had really good success, but for some reason they are flying under the radar. So I want to share them with you guys because they may help you catch a few extra fish, and they're a little different in their own right. And because of that, I think it gives you an advantage over some of the other traditional baits that get a lot more press during this time of year. So let's go over that. Before I get into that, I want to remind you guys that I just had a whole bunch of new lake breakdowns that got posted onto the Fish the Moment website. Lakes in New York, lakes in Wisconsin, a bunch of Mississippi River stuff, some lakes scattered all over the place. So if you're looking for a little bit of help on some of your local lakes, check out the lake breakdowns. The link is in the description. Also, guys, if you are looking to purchase some tackle and want to support the channel, please use the Tackle Warehouse affiliate link that's in the description. It's a great way to support the channel, and it's very much appreciated. Okay, guys, so the first bait that I want to talk about is a bait that really is just a little bit unique in its own right. We're going to talk about this worm right here that is pretty much just a shaky head worm. It is nothing super fancy, except it's got this cool little bulbous tail on the bottom. And this bait is called a Dizzy Diamond from Busy Baits. It's a really cool little bait for a couple of reasons here. It's got the straight flat bottom on it, which is one thing I really like in the worms that I have and that I use, because that flat bottom actually allows you to get a little bit more gliding motion through the water. But more importantly, it has to do with this tail. So when you've got it on a shaky head, the tail actually floats. So it keeps the back end of the bait up, and it keeps the bait in a position that's really good for generating strikes. And it's one that I've found to be quite well. I like to take the tail, dye it in a little bit of chartreuse, and you got that big chartreuse ball up there kind of just waving around up as it's floating around. So if you're a really big shaky head fan and you haven't tried the Dizzy Diamond yet from Biz Baits, you really should check them out. It's a very good bait. The company's starting to really grow quite a bit. I think they're based over in North Carolina, somewhere over on the East Coast. I guess I can't be positive about that, but they're definitely starting to grow pretty well. And the Dizzy Diamond is one of those baits that's helped them get to where they're at, so you might want to check them out. The next has to do with a spy bait. So a spy bait to me is very much a specific target casting bait. So I'm not a huge fan of taking a spy bait and just fan casting big flats, but spy baits really can generate strikes from fish that are inactive when it comes to other baits. I've had several instances on the Great Lakes where I'm fishing, say, a shipwreck, and I cannot get the fish to come out and grab like a drop shot. I can't get them to come out and eat a swim bait going over the head. But for some reason, I throw a spy bait in there and they just go nuts for it. I mean, I'll catch like 4-on-4 casts. I've had so many instances of this where I have fish that just will not eat anything, and then I throw a spy bait over the head of them and they'll come up and eat it on the first cast. So a spy bait to me is very good when you've got a specific target. If you know you've got like an eddy that the fish are sitting in, if you know you've got a shipwreck or a log or a big isolated boulder, to me, that's when a spy bait really comes in handy. And for a while, the only spy bait that was out there was like the Duo Realis one. They kind of took over the market. But I'll tell you guys, Berkeley's spy bait, the Spy, which they've got in a ton of awesome colors. I mean, I've got a whole slew of them, and they've got different weights and different sizes. This is the best spy bait that I use, and I'm going to tell you why. It is solely based on the fact that when I kill this bait, they've got a slow sink and a regular sink, but regardless either one you're throwing, because again, it's got a flat bottom. Hopefully you guys can see that. What this bait does is when you kill it, it shimmies on the fall. So you can tight line it, if you're reeling it and stop it and just tight line it and let it fall, it just shimmies on the fall down. I don't know of any other spy bait that does that. And to me, I get half of my bites on this bait when I kill it, and it just starts that shimmy motion. That's when it really is good. So if you're a big spy bait fan, guys, and you have not tried the Berkeley Spy yet, I think you really need to. I think you'll really be impressed. The blades are great on it. They're like the perfect size, that small size that spins super easy in the water. I'm really surprised we haven't heard more about the Berkeley Spy just because of how well it runs in the water. I can tell you the Berkeley pros are using it and are very, very happy with it, but it has not grabbed like the mainstream spy bait audience yet. But I think it needs to because it really is an excellent spy bait. The next up, we're going to go with the Kitech bait here. I had one out. I don't know where it went. I'll grab another one. The Sexy Impact. It's another shaky head style bait. They come out in different sizes now, but they've got like Ned rig sizes. They've got shaky head sizes. This is a bait that I've been throwing for years now. One of my buddies on the Bridgeford Foods team, Chad Randalls, told me I needed to try it. We were at a Beaver Lake tournament. This is probably 7 or 8 years ago at this point. I could not get the fish to commit to a regular shaky head. And he goes, try the Sexy Impact, put it on there and see if they'll bite it, because he was getting bit on it. And it saved my tournament. I cashed a check. I think 9 of the 10 fish I weighed were on this. And it was just completely a different world. And since then, I've had a lot of really good luck with it. There's a couple of things that set this bait apart. So hopefully you can see it. There's a section here where it narrows down and then gets a little bulbous. But this is right now you're looking at the top of the bait. So it's skinny. If I turn it, it gets fat again. So it's like the same size. But because of that little skinny section here in the middle, the bait actually moves really good when it's in the water. It's almost like it gives it a ton more motion. And then you've got the little tickler tail at the end that is always moving no matter what. It just seems like it really works. This was the size that I was throwing, but like I said, they've since come out with some like Ned rig sizes as well. It's a bait that's been out there for a while. So if you haven't tried it, you might want to try it. The Kitech Sexy Impact, really, really good on a shaky head, really good on a Ned rig. Just again, a little bit different, and it's been around for a long time. I know there's a handful of people that love the bait, but it's not a mainstream bait at this point, so you're going to want to check that out. The last one, again, is another Berkeley bait that really the only one I ever see promoting it is Mike Iaconelli, and it's because it's a Mike Iaconelli bait, and we're going to talk about the little water bug here. This is, again, a super cool little bait that is really very versatile. It works phenomenally well on drop shots, and it works really well on little Ned rigs. You know, you've got little tail here. It's a little split tail that has like cups on it, so you get some good motion out of that. It's got the 2 little tickler arms that act as pectoral fins. It's a different profile that the fish don't normally see, but I can tell you it works really well if you've got a body of water that's got gobies, because it's kind of got that goby profile to it. And it works what I found is it works really well for largemouth as well on a drop shot. It's not necessarily just a smallmouth bait or a spotted bass bait. The largemouth seem to like it, and I don't know if that's because the tail's got a little bit more kicker motion to it or what, but it just seems to work really well. So you're going to want to check out the Iaconelli water bug. This is the baby bass color that I'm holding, one of my favorites. But again, it's a bait that has been out for a couple of years now and does not get nearly as much attention as I think it deserves, because when I've used this bait, all these baits, I have had such good success on them, and you know, they're just some of my go-tos when I'm looking for a little something different than the fish I haven't seen in a while. So I hope this was helpful, guys. Check them out. I'll put links up in the description of the video if you guys want to learn more about each of the baits. But I'm telling you, I don't think you'll be disappointed with any of them. They all offer a little something unique, and they all really, in my opinion, outshine a lot of the competition when it comes to the same baits in that category. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button. Stay tuned. Another video coming out tomorrow.